Delaware in the building. Y'all ain't ready for the Delaware takeover. Y'all not ready for this unique style and creativity that everybody in the world wants to see. Nas and Jay is bringing it. And everything they bring got that Delaware swag.
Hey everybody.
Hey everybody, Naj and Jay here. Woo! It's another Monday.
It's not another Monday. We got a lot going on this week, boy. Yeah, we got a week coming up. It is
I
another
know.
Monday, but yeah,
I know.
it feels different this week. You know,
Yeah.
Clifford Brown week always feels different.
I'm actually exhausted from the thought of what's about to go down.
Oh man.
Welcome to your morning sip of local news. What's happening? And
Real world mess.
I'm so proud of you. Jay,
Hmm.
how was your father's?
You been smoking? Had a couple of stogies over the weekend.
How was your Father's Day?
It was good. It was good. It was as laid back as possible, and I definitely was showered in love, and I felt the love all day. My daughter made me this bracelet that I'm going to be wearing for eternity at this point.
I love that. She did, y'all. She did the Chinese staircases, and not with GIMP.
No.
That ain't with GIMP.
I wish I could make it clear, easier. But anyway, she
You
made
do
me
the
something.
YouTube hand.
Yeah, right. But yeah, it was a good day. I felt the love, and that means a lot. Because it is the role that I take most seriously. Yeah.
Okay. What were your gifts?
My wife pulled me, and she was like, "Here, take this and shut up." So she broke me off some pants.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah, which I'm fine with.
Is that it?
Yeah. I mean, yeah,
did your son give you anything?
What's that?
Your son?
Oh, they got me cards.
Okay.
Yeah, my son made me a nice card, and yeah, it's a great day.
We got Ishmael a farting card.
That's hysterical. I love it. Yeah.
And it was an absurdly long fart.
I respect that completely. Yeah.
You ask me how I'm doing.
How are you doing?
Oh, but thanks for asking, Jay.
Okay.
I'm exhausted.
Yeah,
we had a weekend.
Yeah.
We had a weekend.
Well, you had a weekend. I mean, Saturday, you had a weekend.
I did.
Saturday was busy, but kind of normal once, we were done with the Black Joy, but then you just basically ran hard for Saturday and Sunday.
Went hard in the paint.
Yeah, I did not. So, yeah.
Yeah. So from Friday night with girlfriends to early morning Black Joy to then an evening gig to then church in the morning to then another evening gig. Yeah. I finally sat down after my last gig at 7:00 yesterday, and like it hit me. Like I felt like the weekend was like fast forwarded.
But here's the deal: you paid your bills, number one.
Listen, baby.
And so would you especially as a singer, as a musician, that is how it goes. Would you rather run hard on a Sunday and pay the bills singing, doing what you love, or would you rather be waking up right now in an office?
Absolutely.
You know what I'm saying? So we are blessed. You know what I'm saying?
I realized that I am the common denominator with those jobs. It is I am the problem.
Listen, we're not going to jump all the way off the deep end of this discussion, but this is why
I cannot be a caged animal.
But this is why working your passion, because no matter what, you're going to grind and grind hard. Yeah. But like at least grind doing something that you enjoy grinding at.
Yeah. Truly. Okay. Well, I'm glad we're doing well.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm good. I slept last night. I'm good.
Okay. Black Music Month. It's also Pride Month. So love and appreciation to all of our Pride people, our Pride folk. For Black Music Month, do you want to say something?
Yeah, I'm not sure exactly what you want me to say. I mean, she said...
Okay, let me say. Yeah, who is your absolute all-time, hands down favorite Black musician?
Duke Ellington.
Why?
1000%. He is the epitome of Black excellence when it comes to music. He is Black Mozart. He is Black Beethoven. And when I say Black, I don't mean like that Mozart is better, but like if you have, like he is at that level of musicianship. And from my snotty opinion, I would argue that he's greater Because it's jazz, and jazz is a music that requires you to be in the moment and also have the same skill set as a classical musician. So he knew his theory. He was one of Quincy Jones's you know what I mean, idols. He's as good as you could be. He wrote thousands of pieces of music. He was your traditional composer, but also, again, jazz. And he studied and studied, but also learned it in the streets, if you will. And when you have that kind of a blend of an artist, especially a black artist, it's unbeatable. You know, we always talk about how if you have like a trained church musician, like a church musician or a jazz musician who also knows their classical theory, that dude is uneffable. You know what I'm saying? Like they just can do all of the things comfortably, and it's a beautiful thing to see. And in a way that is completely opposite to me, Duke was stylish. The man was classy. He was as stylish as you could be. He was just a total class act. Like he makes me think of my grandmom, who was also wildly classy and just well dressed and fashionable. I love all things about him. He was smooth. He was intelligent. He never no scandals about him. I mean, he had women's and all that kind of stuff, but like nothing absurd. Like he wasn't a horrible human. So I love Duke Ellington for 1,000 reasons. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'm gonna do something different. I am going to celebrate one of my favorite Black musicians, and that is Araya Love, or Damala.
Okay.
And the reason why I chose her is because I feel like she is severely underrated and isn't acknowledged in our music community within Wilmington the way that she should be, because she is from here, raised here, went to CCAC, has worked with tons of people within the community. She has a phenomenal voice. She's classically trained.
You're gonna make the rant monster come out, and I don't want him to come out today.
She's an international singer. She's beautiful. And when I tell you she is funny, Jay, stop it, you freaking weirdo.
The rant monster is going to come out because you're right.
Shut your mouth. Stop being weird. You're making it awkward. You're taking it away from her now.
I'm making it all about her. I'm about to rant for her
Go
on
ahead.
her behalf.
Go ahead.
I'm not going to.
No, go ahead.
No, you got it.
No, because you over there shaking like a psycho. Go ahead.
Case in point.
Oh my God. Damala, we love you. You are absolutely a star. And I look forward to seeing you more outside in Wilmington, getting that paper. And if nobody has told you, I'm telling you, you got it.
Demolish them.
Oh, I can't stand you. I cannot.
You love it.
Ay. All right. So, flowers. Who do we have flowers for? I want to give flowers real quick to Benjamin from Wilmington Ballet. Winterter. Is it Winterthur or Winterter?
I believe
Or is that a
technically
snotty
it's
thing?
Winterter. I think it's a snotty thing, but it also might be correct. I really don't know.
Okay.
I'm going to go with Winterter.
Okay, I'm going to go with Winterthur then.
Sure.
And everyone involved in bringing the celebration of Black joy to the museum and the gardens. We had a fabulous time over the weekend, and we had a audience of adults, and they stayed and listened to the stories, and I really, really loved that. We had a great time last year, this year. So I just want to say thank you for having us, and we look forward to working with you all again.
And we look forward to continued performances of it.
Yeah.
From my end, specifically because it will leave you feeling good. And it does a really good job. And honestly, it isn't what it is without Kim Graham's poetry. But it summarizes the Black experience.
It does.
And
it really does.
It does it beautifully. And again, you will walk away understanding what it is to be. And here's the thing. In as much as if you aren't Black, you will walk away having a deeper understanding of who we are, that's great. But the show is for everyone. But if there's anyone I really want to be at the show, it's us, it's Black people.
Yeah.
Because we have to constantly remind ourselves that we are a people of joy.
Yes.
And when you walk away with a certain feeling, the same way you walk out of church service, like uplifted and feeling good because of the music and because of the camaraderie and because of the community, you'll get that same feeling. And considering all the things that we're constantly struggling with as Black people, anytime you can get an adrenaline boost with a good vibe, you take it and run with it.
Yeah.
And it's a reminder of who we really are. Especially, listen, I've said it before. I am all for the ratchet. I love it. I get
There's
it.
a time and a place.
There's a time and a place.
Yes.
But in terms of balance and reminding us of our essence,
Yeah. This is a great show.
it's a great show, and it
For
has
that.
nothing to do. My voice is. My voice is replaceable. It's not just about me. I'm saying like anyone.
No, it's the experience.
It's the experience, and
It's like watching a movie of where we've come from and where we're going, where we are and where we're going.
And because the music goes everywhere from
Yes.
traditional gospel that's going to connect to your grandmom and great grandmom and connect all of that all the way to modern songs right now.
Hip hop, R&B, jazz, like.
Yeah, I feel like we are getting to a point where we have to find something that's tied into trap. You know what I'm saying? That would be appropriate, you know, for the younger kids. But you know, if you're between the eight from 25 up, you'll walk away for sure. And it'll connect to anybody because good music connects to anybody.
Yeah.
But I'm glad that we had the opportunity to do it at Winterthur. But please keep your eyes peeled for more.
Yeah. We'll be doing we did half the show this past weekend, but we'll be doing the full show in September.
Yeah.
And I'm excited for that because when you get the full show, you have the full spectrum. Like,
well, you know, if you sing a gospel song,
and I would like to actually sing a gospel song in the show,
my
like a
point,
full-on gospel show
for sure. But
gospel song,
singing a gospel tune for your traditional crowd at the Grand Opera House versus singing a gospel tune at a Black church over East Side is a much different.
And that's the other thing. I am ready for that audience that talks back.
I want you to throw things at me, holler at me.
Yes, I want y'all shouting things out.
I want you interrupting. I want you singing along. I want you dancing. I want to be nervous about screwing up. I want to be nervous about messing up Frankie Beverly and Maze.
We ain't been there yet.
Saying? Like, I need to have a little bit of heat on my back. But like, boy, you better not mess up these lyrics.
I know that we've made it when Jay starts singing.
Never could have made it.
When Jay starts singing in a Southern accent. When he starts singing in a Southern accent, then I know we have made it.
We have reached maximum comfort, and we are dialed all the way in because, again, I need that heat on my neck, knowing that if you mess this one up, you're gonna lose. You might just lose your Black card. You know what I'm saying? So yeah.
I need the crowd where we can braid Jay's hair.
I need the crowd while we're going in to understand that no, I am not Puerto Rican. I'm just a light-skinned Black boy here in these streets. You know what I'm saying? When there's no confusion, that's how I know I'm home.
We're going to get there, though. We're going to get there. Oh, man. I also would like to give flowers to Vince at the Cooch's Bridge Historical Society. Yesterday, I had the honor and pleasure of performing at their Juneteenth celebration. So if you don't know anything about Cooch's Bridge, look it up. It is a site where there was a battle. So forgive me because I just learned about the significance of this location over off of Old Baltimore Pike.
Mm-hmm. Right behind University of Delaware.
Yeah, so there was a battle there, but the family that occupied and still does, have been there for generations, and they had slaves.
Like since the beginning of America, generations.
Yeah.
Like that long.
And the house is still
Yeah.
standing.
Yeah.
And they had slaves that were on the land, and then they also had people who came and served with the family and lived there and worked for the family. So this event was basically acknowledging those lives, but also acknowledging the work that it takes to move into a more respectful and understanding and equal future. They also acknowledge indigenous peoples who occupied that land before they did.
Mhm.
Kenneth Morris, who is a descendant, a true descendant, a real descendant, like has paperwork, like got the bloodline of Frederick Douglass. Do you know what I'm referencing there? We'll have to talk about that off camera.
Yeah.
Frederick Douglass and Booker T. Washington. And he went through the story of both men. Now, I am a lover of history, preferably Black history, because it makes me feel connected to my roots. The way that he told, I was locked in, okay? Locked into these stories and how he connected. And here's the thing. He knew as a child that he was the descendant, like close, but he was embarrassed because nobody believed him.
That's interesting.
So it took him a long time
to accept his bloodline.
Yes.
That sounds like a movie. You know
Yes.
what I'm saying?
I
Like,
was
I
like-
am the next king of Wakanda. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
I am the next in line for the
Right.
throne. So
It was incredible to hear that, because like you would think
Yeah.
that that person would shout it from the mountaintops, but in fact, you know, like that one person that continues to say that he is a descendant of Frederick Douglass and has no ties, and even the family of Frederick Douglass said that
Listen,
can we
even
ties.
verify the doctorate? But go ahead.
I mean, we can't. So, you know,
we digress.
We digress. But anyway, I really enjoyed it. There was also a young lady who brilliant, Calvina Perry, who is working on the research of the slaves that were on the land. When I tell you, she broke it down like names, age, what their life would have been like. And the way she was nervous when she got up, she even said it. But as she went, you could tell the nerves started to like float away. And I actually want to bring her on the show, because to see a Black woman get up there and talk about, I needed to know more than just what was written in the book.
Yeah.
You know, that meant so much to me.
Listen, this is why nerds matter. I mean that respectfully.
Yes.
Like, you got to have somebody who's just
Yes.
like, I want to be in the books reading.
Yes.
Yeah, those
And
people
so,
are highly valuable.
and she has so much access to different information to continue to build on the story. And she a homegirl.
Okay.
Like, she a homegirl. So I look forward to reaching out to her and connecting. But that event was just beautiful. Vince did an amazing job. Him and his whole group, and even Jonathan, who was there coordinating, did a wonderful job of making this event, like, because I didn't really know what I was walking into. But the information that I received and the appreciation, like, sometimes you can go to events, and I mean this in like the most real way. Sometimes you can go into an event run by white people for Black people, and you can tell the inauthenticity. You know, this was authentic. I felt respected. I felt heard. I felt seen. I felt appreciated. And it was just beautiful. So I implore you to go and look
how
up.
well attended was it? And I mean this respectfully.
So I would say there was maybe 60 people there.
That's not bad.
Because they had a tent, and like almost every
That's not
chair
bad. That's
was
good.
Yeah.
That's good.
It was beautiful.
Okay, that's good.
Yeah.
I'm
So
glad to hear
I
that.
think next year, if they do it again, I wouldn't be surprised if it was bigger.
Well, yeah, that's really good to hear. And, you know, this is why we celebrate.
Yes.
And I feel the need to say it. This is our holiday, like, for Black people, but it's also an American holiday.
Yes.
There's no America without slavery.
Yes.
There's no reasonable way to consider the greatness, quote unquote, of America without the legacy of slavery.
Right.
And this Black people being freed on June 19th, 1865, and obviously extremely important for me and where I stand and where we stand, but for the nation as a whole. And it's always been a thing that no one really has at the forefront of their mind, is that the path to freedom for Black people and the civil rights for Black people has always helped everybody else. You know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
It helps civil rights for everybody. And we've always been the head of that attack. And when you're at the head of that, you take a lot of blows from that. And in as much as we certainly have a long way to go as a people and as a country, this is our day. And we have every right to celebrate it the same way that everyone celebrates the 4th of July, and the same way that, you know, Christmas is a national holiday. So Black people in particular, and Americans, all of you, use this Wednesday to be in a space of joy and just be completely Black. Understanding, yes, there is ground to cover. And I am one of the people doing my best to help cover that ground and to advance things forward. And I come from a tradition of people who have spent lifetimes trying to help us advance. But on Wednesday, we get a chance to take a breath and just to be thankful and to celebrate and be ourselves completely and freely, literally, in as much as we can on this day. So do all of the Black things. Do all of the line dances. Do all the Black things. Do all of the barbecues, all of the music, all of the way that you want to dress, and do it unabashedly, because this is our day, you know? I just came from the Italian festival 2 times over Friday and Saturday. They celebrate, they party, and it's a beautiful thing to watch. The Greek festival the week before that, they are all up in their Greekness. And I love it. I love all cultures. This is our day. Be Black, be proud, be joyful. Yeah.
So I also wanted to say we learned a tidbit on Saturday about Juneteenth. So everybody knows that 1865, June 19th, 1865, was when Texas, right? That was the last Southern state. Delaware, those enslaved in Delaware remained in bondage until December 6, 1865, when the 13th Amendment was declared ratified without Delaware's concurrence.
Yeah. Celebrate. It's a big deal. Let's not act like it's not. Yeah, we're still on flowers.
I know, but I just, you know.
No, absolutely.
I just, you know, I thought the event was amazing, and flowers to everyone involved in putting that together. And for last of my flowers, my Aunt Crystal's birthday was over the weekend. Happy birthday.
Happy birthday.
We love you. And she's a watcher of the show. So
we love
you.
Yeah. I want to offer flowers to Krista Barnett. Krista is a friend of mine from when I worked in Lancaster at my best friend's dental practice called Smile Builders. And I'm giving her flowers, and I love this story. It still makes me happy. I left there, I think maybe 10 or 11 years ago at this point. And right when I left, she was still there, and she had finished nursing school, and she took her boards and failed them. And there was a course of about 2 or 3 years. Fail. And she's a thorough person. Like, she's an HR person. She's HR. She's as type A, planning, prepared, appropriate, like as you can be. And fail. And me and her sister were always like, yo, you got this. Don't quit. Fail. Like literally 3 or 4 times we would check in, like following few months. Retake, fail.
Don't you got to pay for that?
Yes.
Oh, child.
And at a certain point, we stopped asking because like, I don't want to make it stressful.
Right.
Last week, I should say, 11 years later.
Wow.
She sent me and Jack a text saying, yo, I passed.
Oh.
And it made me so happy. You talk about how celebrating someone else's victories make you happy.
Yeah.
To see somebody struggle and not quit. And quite frankly, somebody's going to be mad, and that's fine. But when you talk about perseverance and Juneteenth and never quitting,
Yeah.
that's why it rings so heavily with me. I don't care if she black, white, whatever. Like this young lady was a dog, like stuck her head into the books and just didn't quit. And I,
Wow.
as someone who is as stubborn as they come, I have a deep appreciation for people who don't quit. So flowers to you, Krista. She's not even on social media, but
wow. Somebody gonna send her this clip.
Somebody, Jack, if you see it, that's her sister. Let her see this clip because it's a lesson to be learned by anyone.
Is it Krista?
Krista.
We love you, Krista.
Ever give up. You know, that's when I go up to Harry's Hot Dogs in Coatesville.
Okay.
It's her. So 100%. Yeah.
Oh.
Flowers to you. Yep.
Wow. That's awesome. Okay, so that's all the flowers we have for this week. So something happened with city council.
Yeah, there is a city council meeting this Thursday at 6.
God
and
darn it!
Yeah, we're going to be at Clifford Brown, and we have to be there.
Oh,
I would love to be there
goodness.
for this one. I probably should have pulled up the actual document, but it's a lot to read.
No, what is
At the end of the day, City Council is hoping to pass a resolution that makes it so you cannot protest directly in front of someone's house for like an extended period of time.
Got you.
And it's worth hearing the details about, and it's an important issue because it's a First Amendment issue. I understand that there are different opinions about how this should be approached, and I did a little bit of research to kind of understand what the sort of case law is for this. Listen, this isn't a secret. Like Keandra, is known for pulling up in front of politicians' homes and protesting police brutality and protesting for BAM. I've seen her out in the streets doing it. I've been through the Highlands watching her pulling up right in front of people's houses with a group of people and with the megaphone, like, kick rocks. And it's aggressive. And in as much as it's probably offensive to some people, if you shot, if I'll stop.
My stomach is making an appearance again.
Listen, if I lost my brother brutally to the police in an illegal way, if he was murdered by police officers in a wheelchair
and set up,
I am going hard in the paint. I don't care who's offended, okay? I don't care. Like, I'm going to scream at whoever I can scream at to make a change, and that's my job as the brother.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So I completely understand why Keandra goes hard like that. She should. It's her blood. That's what I would want my blood to do for me, or that's what I would do for my blood, quite frankly. And the person who Mikey, Michaelina de Jesus, that's. She's however you cut it, she's one of my sisters. And she posted that this ordinance, I guess, what you would call it, this legislation is potentially going to be, on the table. And she wants people to come out because one of the things that she is fighting hard for is to basically end the occupation that is in Palestine. And that's, her thing. And she goes just as hard as Keandra, and I respect her for doing that. When she feels passionate about something, she goes in 1,000%, and there's no pulling her off of the break, and I get that. So the question ultimately is whether or not it's constitutional to stop someone from being able to protest directly in front of someone's home.
Gotcha.
My understanding is that case law, or like previous cases related to this, have stated that you can go back and forth through a neighborhood as long as you are on public property and not like holding up traffic or causing like a real danger for everyone else. So like if you wanted to protest someone specifically, case law has stated that you can go back and forth in a neighborhood, but it's kind of sketchy as to whether or not you can just be directly in front of someone's house. I honestly don't have a real opinion as to whether or not I think that it should be legal. I have to be honest. On one hand, again, if I was in Keandra's shoes, I would be doing the same thing. The question is, how far should it go? Because, from my opinion, everyone has the right to protest, and I believe in the First Amendment. But, like, what is the line? Like, what if I decide that I want to protest someone for something that might not be a big deal to you?
Right.
Like, we're talking about police brutality, huge deal. We're talking about occupation and potential genocide, huge deal, right? But what if I, for example, am mad at the city for what's something that's a little more, that's less serious that I could protest about? Pick an issue. I'm sorry.
Leaf collection.
About leaf collection. What if I was like, I want the mayor to pass something that is for leaf collection, and I'm upset about the way it's doing, and I'm going to use my First Amendment protest. I don't think it's okay to be in front of the mayor's house screaming about leaves, right? Leave him alone. I shouldn't make jokes right now, but I couldn't help it. So that's why we have laws, to try and make these distinctions. I think if you are available, that you should show up to that meeting on Thursday and listen to what is being proposed and offer your voice, because it's a complicated issue.
And you know what? I think I am going to slide up in there, because now that I know who runs the sanitation department, the amount of times that I have called to complain about my trash can lids going missing, them breaking my trash cans, and then they switched up and gave us our own trash cans, but then they leave trash on the side of the street. I'm going to protest at somebody's house.
So should you be able to do that?
Yeah. No.
But if it was something, it's and that's why we have laws. And this is why. And my biggest concern, because my knee-jerk reaction is to not trust the politicians. And my knee-jerk reaction is to err on the side of the people, because politicians will quickly set things in their favor, not in terms of what is actually constitutional.
God, that makes me sick to my stomach.
You know what I'm saying? Like, I cannot trust that this ordinance won't be created as a real infringement. Like, this is a chance to, like, and it's not because I think that some evil politician is trying to take away First Amendment rights. It's just that they naturally are selfish and are going to try to tilt things in their favor, because listen, nobody wants to be a lot of them.
Yes.
Listen,
I don't want to.
And you're going to try to make it so that you're comfortable, because you don't want anyone in front of your house protesting you. And I get it, but like, if you do some real messed up stuff, maybe you should have someone in front of your house. You know what I'm saying? Like, this is totally outside of anything that is any reality. But if I find out that a certain politician is a child molester, I'm going to pull up in front of your house, and maybe even worse, risk getting arrested, because, you're not going to be doing that to our babies. I don't care if it's illegal. So these are the issues that are on the table. And this is where it's extremely important for our voices to be heard and for us to understand what is being proposed, so that we can have our opinions and thoughts in it. Because at the end of the day, you cannot just give carte blanche trust to any politician. You have to be aware of what's going on, and you have to hold them accountable for their decisions, especially when it comes to the First Amendment. This is like our first fundamental right. So if you're available, get out Thursday, voice your opinion. It's necessary, and I'll leave it at that.
Okay.
Yeah.
Real quick, I'm gonna touch on this, and then you can touch on the fight if you want, because that was incredible. But last week I talked about Angel Reese and Caitlin Clark. So this past weekend there was a game. Angel Reese fouled Caitlin Clark. Now listen, I am not a basketball expert. I don't know about what a flagrant foul and blah. All I know is I saw the recap, the video. She didn't smack her in her head intentionally. You can literally see that she was going for the ball, and she hits her head. And the thing is, her hand didn't hit her head. It was her arm hitting her ponytail. You could clearly see that it was not an attempt on her life. And we also have to remember, we're playing the game of basketball. I need y'all, number one, stop going after, there are multiple levels here. Number one, stop going after Angel Reese like she is the devil. That's number one. She's playing the game that she's being paid to play. Caitlin Clark chose to play in the WNBA, and there is no need to protect her. She's fine.
She a big grown woman.
Big grown woman.
Way bigger than me.
The whole racism thing is really driving me crazy because y'all, like, I swear to God, like, it's basketball, child. It is basketball with its own set of rules. And yes, have there been other WNBA players who are coming at her neck and Angel Reese's neck? Absolutely, because they're the rookies. That's what happens in anything.
Dennis Rodman is as flagrant of a fouler as you could be, and everyone loves it. You know what I'm saying?
That's a part of the game. When you're a rookie, you're going to get tossed
Bill
around a bit.
Laimbeer, like, you know, these guys who just brutalize each other. It's okay. It's a sport, guys.
Y'all.
You don't have to baby the girls.
Also, I think people need to also understand, again, like I said last week, there was a reason. No, how do I say this? Caitlin Clark and Angel Reese have brought fans back to the game of women's basketball.
Not back to, but just
like
to.
Have heightened it.
Yeah.
That is, I need people to be okay with that. Like, I need you to understand that is a good thing, regardless of whether it's a white woman, black woman, whether, you know, it happened too late, and blah, blah, blah. The fact is that these women are finally getting the recognition that they so deserve. And we should be happy about that. But for some reason, it seems like y'all just want people to ignore women's basketball. Like, oh, y'all only watching because of this Caitlin Clark girl. Okay, and why is that a problem? We should be glad that people are watching. So these women can be paid a livable wage so that we don't have to have them go to another country and be paid more and leave their lives here. Like, I swear, some people's logic just really annoys me. So yeah, I need y'all to let up and just support these women and be fans and buy up them tickets and the merch. Enjoy the sport.
It's a game.
Like, my God. And the only reason why I'm invested, number one.
Have you watched a single game?
No, I don't even know. I don't have cable. I wouldn't even know where to watch it. But number one, my sister went to school on basketball scholarships. So, and I played when I was a kid. I care about my sister, what my sister cares about, right? So this is great conversation for me and her. But also, I am a woman, and I'm always about women empowerment. And so there we are.
Cool.
Yes. Now tell us about that fight, because that thing was crazy.
Well, it's funny you say it's crazy, because I don't think it was actually crazy. It was just like,
yes, it was.
Gervonta Davis is Tank is will definitely go down in history as one of the great fighters of his generation. And at this point, he's tracking to be one of the greatest of all time in terms of just his overall skill set and what he's able to do. And I think he's, not only is he in his prime, but he's getting better with every fight. And, you know, he knocked out Martin, was the guy's name, I believe. I forget. He flatlined his most recent opponent. And, you know, out of all his 30 fights or whatever, I think he got 28 knockouts. And it's just really cool. He is a true student of what they call the sweet science.
He waited till he got tired and said,
but that's the sweet science. It's like, you know, and that's why it's so cool. And the thing that I love specifically about Tank is he's always the smaller guy. People don't realize, like, he's tiny.
We are tiny but mighty.
No, and it's really cool to see when you see a bigger guy. Like, this is why skills matter. And listen, if you're small like me, please don't think that you can just jump in someone bigger's face.
No, you need to train.
Because these are people who are he's a freak athlete.
You need to be angry and trained.
No, you have to be a freak athlete. It's not even angry and trained. Like, even if you are angry and trained, you still might not have, it's like, he's a genius. You know what I'm saying? But it was really cool to see, because he's like 5'5" and 130 pounds. You know what I'm saying?
Wait a minute. I'm 5'3" and 120 pounds.
And
that man.
I was talking to my brother about this.
He's 10 pounds.
And he's got little legs.
2 inches taller than me.
I was talking to my brother about this. Like, what? And mind you, I am normally the smallest person in the room. And
me too.
Wait. And okay, this is not about.
Just say it.
Because I'm always the smaller person, and I have never gotten whooped. It's not, obviously, I've always beat up people who are bigger than me, right?
Because you're ready.
So my point is this. If I'm in a club with Tank and I don't know who Tank is, as someone who is used to fighting people bigger than me, if he stepped to me, I would be like, man, listen, I'm about to pick your little child self up and throw you. And you know what would happen?
You'd get knocked
Is
out.
I would be asleep before I did a single
Before
thing.
you got the word out.
Before I even got the thought out, I would be flat on my face, waking up like, what just happened?
You'll be like me when my sister hit me.
And that is so cool because he really is tiny. But if you see him, and everyone who follows boxing knows, but like he hits so hard.
That's terrifying.
And the guy who was, blatantly bigger than him was probably the guy who was fighting probably about my size, right?
Man.
And he was more muscular, looked more athletic, but this is why the science matters. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Like, and what he did was he literally said, I'm gonna let this bigger dude, cover up. I'm gonna cover up. Let him wear himself out.
Right. Let him do his thing.
Figured out all of what he does right and wrong. And if you saw the fight breakdown, like it really is chess at that level. And he figured out where he's as he's eating punches, he's analyzing. He
pulled a Mayweather. Like he studied him.
No. Yeah, but that is boxing.
Yes.
Like he's paying attention. Oh, gap there, problem here.
Yep.
Computerized.
Yep.
This is my plan of attack that he can carry out physically.
Right.
Because the brain might be there, but the body might not. But he's got both. And long story short, is he almost consciously whipped with a right hook. Something you don't expect is he threw the left uppercut, that was pretty much it then. He was already done. And then, boy, he cocked back with that left cross. And that's the point for me where I'm like, this is dangerous. Because when you have someone who's already out of it and they take a 100% professional clean shot from a trained assassin who is wildly powerful,
trained assassin.
That is where you can get hurt. And I'm glad that he was able to get up and was totally functional afterwards. But like, that was, it's like watching when the eagle swoops down and picks up the fish, and it's just super strong, but it's beautiful and scary at the same time. You know what I'm saying? And that's what it was. Yeah.
Can you? I don't know if you can, but can you explain the science? So what I was thinking was I was watching a clip of a fight between two women who were boxing.
Yeah.
And I've seen people get knocked out, but it never registered how that works.
What do you mean?
So what causes the complete shutdown of your functions?
Oh, that's just so if number one, bottom line is they're just like they're a pressure point. So if you hit a human being in certain places, it's just highly likely that that your brain's going to, number one, rattle up against the side of your skull. And that your life's your body's just gonna turn off, almost like a reflex. And it's more likely, and it's more likely that that's going to happen if you don't see it coming.
Because you can't brace yourself.
Right, exactly. Because normally they're watching everything, and that's kind of what happened. Is he probably he might not have even seen the uppercut, but he ate that and was still awake. But you're still stunned. Like you don't know what's going on. At this point, you're not processing. He's just a sitting duck at that point. But that's not the science of it. The science is how you set that shot up and how you recognize someone's openings. Because like, if you think about it, you have two hands up, right? And this is all you can protect yourself with, right? This is what you have. And no matter where you put your hands, even with big gloves, something is exposed. Like, look at, right? Even if I do this, if you hit me here, if he hits me here, I'm going to break a rib. If he hits me here, I'm going to sleep. Like, there's always, no matter what I do, something is open. And so my job is there's always something that's available. So my job is to figure out how to anticipate your movements and to get to an opening that will stop you from being able to fight. You know what I'm saying? If that makes sense. But there's always something that's open. Even with the Philly shell, like that's a lot less, but there's always something that you can get to that's going to hurt the person.
Man. Yeah. Well, thank you, Jay, for your analyzation of the boximication.
Yeah, no problem.
So I don't know if y'all have ever heard of the artist Tyla. She's a South African artist who has that song, Make Me Sweat, Make Me Harder.
Great hook.
Make me lose my breath. Yeah, make me water. Sorry, I had to complete that or I was going to lose my mind.
Great hook, yeah.
So she's known for that and the dance that goes with it. And this came up before, but it just recently came up again about how she identifies as colored.
Which is a real designation in South Africa. That's an
right.
actual, like it's the same way you would check Hispanic.
Yes.
Like that is an actual category.
Yes. So I'm going to start with the Naja before traveling overseas may not have been as open to the conversation and understanding of why she said that.
I'm so glad that you can see this.
Yes. So
it's really
prior to going overseas, when I heard that, it was kind of like, why are we using that term? Because it's outdated and a little bit offensive. I also would have felt
You're thinking like an American.
Yes, yes. I was thinking like a Black American, right?
Who
has lived the Black experience. Yeah. And then her describing all of the different facets of her ethnicity, like the Irish and the Zulu.
She's
and
Indian.
And all the things, right? I would have been like, she don't want to be Black. Like, just say you don't want to be Black, but you want to prey on Black culture. Like, you want to capitalize off Black culture, but you don't want to be Black.
She wants to be everything she is.
Now, going overseas, and here's the thing. I look like Tyla, as in I am a light-skinned Black woman, right?
Sure.
I go overseas, and one of the first things I realized when I got there was that the term Black didn't truly make sense to people. And it wasn't just, so I don't know if I also described this, the Emiratis over in the UAE are the minority because number one, you have to be like your percentage has to be higher than like 50%.
But they run it.
They run it.
Yeah.
So you cannot become a citizen if you're not blood Emirati or married to a blood Emirati. So everyone else that makes up the majority are called expats from all over the world. Literally every single place you can think of, somebody is from there. And they all live and work and make the country thrive. So I get there and people are asking me, where are you from? Or, and I'll say I'm from America. And I remember the first time I had the conversation, they said, oh, you're American. And immediately my Black card, I said, no, I'm Black. And they were like, Black, but you're African? And I'm like, I'm African American. And they were like, oh, what part of Africa are you from? And I was like, no. I am Black. I'm African American. So I live in America. I'm from America, but I'm Black in America. Like I'm African American. And they were like, so are you African or are you American? And so that happened multiple times. And what I learned from talking to different people when I had the opportunity.
And I think the main thing that you have to understand is this is literally just an issue of not perception, perspective.
Yes, perspective. Yes. So I was able to sit down with a few different people and have that conversation about where I'm from and who I am. So one of the first things I realized is when you leave the country, like
You're American. Sorry.
Like unless, like, how can I say? When you're in Mexico, in the Bahamas, in Jamaica, it's different. When you actually leave and you go overseas, you are American. Unless you literally have lived in a different country and identify as...
And that's even if you're Mexican.
Yes.
It doesn't matter if you are Asian.
Yes.
Like, as an American, like, yes, you are Chinese American.
Yes.
You're Italian American.
Yes.
You're,
yes.
Mexican American, but they see American first, despite your physical appearance.
They see that blue passport.
They see that money. They see that privilege.
I learned there that race is an American thing.
Mm-hmm.
It is. We are the ones that break things down like that. Now, I met someone who was from Africa. He was from, I think he was from Ghana. And like, he talked about his tribe and he talked about where in Ghana he's from. And, he has family in Nigeria and family here, but he is African. So when we were having the conversation about me being African American, he giggled because when he said to me, well, if you're African American, that means you're African. What part of Africa is your African from? And I was like, I don't know.
And that's okay.
Yes, and he said that to me. He was like, because he was familiar with this conversation.
Yes.
He was like, and he apologized for giggling because he could see that I was uncomfortable.
But it's legit.
Right. So basically,
and it's not her denying her connection to Africa.
But
we understand from whence we come.
Here's the thing. I had to say to him, because he knew about George Floyd.
Mm-hmm.
He knew about
of course he did.
Slavery.
Yes, of course
so
he did.
I told him about how me saying that I'm American hurts me. Like, I didn't want to tell people that I was American because that would mean that I am the red, white, and blue flag, you know, I'm American, like beer can and pickup truck, like that's what I viewed, the racism and the pain and all. That's what I thought of when I thought of American.
Because that is often the Black experience for
Exactly.
Americans. But all of the people looking from the outside who want to be here because of all of our privilege see us as the people who have money, who
Right.
have, you know, these expensive Apple
Who have
devices
rights,
all the time.
who have rights,
You know?
who have rights.
Mm-hmm.
Like that. He was like, you live in the free place. And I remember hearing that and I'm like, oh my God, I got it. I got it.
From his perspective.
From their perspective.
Mm-hmm.
Because everybody I spoke to, they didn't disrespect the African slave lineage, but it was them basically saying to me, like, I understand. But
Can you cook a single African dish? Can you tell us a single thing about our local traditions in our village, in our neighborhood, in our city? You know?
Right.
That's like saying, never mind. But it makes sense.
And that gave me an appreciation for being American, because there were things that I also learned about where these people are from that they didn't have, that I have. Like, there are so many privileges. Even being over there, they saw that blue passport and there were so many things so many ways.
I remember, for me, this is 20 years ago, being in Vienna. And Vienna is a very liberal, you know, Western culture. And to your point, above anything, despite my pride and attachment to all of my beautiful Blackness on Juneteenth, they saw me as an American first. They're like, oh, you, because I remember I had an Apple laptop. And they're like, "Oh, you rich American."
Mm-hmm. Well,
you know what I'm saying?
But I will say, but at the same, on the same, how can I say this? So
it's complicated.
I was American. That was it. I'm American. Now, am I Black? They do understand Black. They get that. I'm obviously not a European, right? There were instances where I was treated less than, because I was a woman, but also because I was a colored woman. I am not a European, and I wasn't, you know, an Emirati, and I wasn't like, you know, Middle Eastern. Like, they could tell I was not from there. So they categorized me as someone who probably was poor, who didn't have the funds to be able to handle whatever I was about to do. So there are instances.
There is prejudice based on color.
There is prejudice. There is.
Yep.
And how I'm tying this back into Tyla is we have to expand how we're thinking. Our experience as Blacks, as African Americans within America, is our experience here. But there's a whole world out there, and we have to. And what I also noticed, because there were Black girls, there was a Black girls in UAE group.
Mm-hmm.
And they shared that another Black girl from America had come to perform.
Yeah.
But what bothered me, but what it made me think was, we have to be careful about seeping our toxic racism rhetoric into the world's view of us,
while also recognizing that the racism is still there.
Yes.
You have to start with an open mind.
Yes.
Also keeping in mind previous experiences and that racism and sexism and classism exists.
Yes.
It's both. So you have to do two things at once, people.
Yes.
You know?
So Tyla, and the other thing is, I feel like so she was on the Breakfast Club and they asked her about the colored term. And she looked to her management and they were like, we're not going to handle that. And there was backlash. I understand her not wanting to have that conversation because there are so many Americans, Black Americans, who are so dense and are unwilling to have that conversation or expand their mind or seek further education on who we are within this country and within this world. So they don't get it. And she was there for press. She wasn't there to school you and educate you on her side of the world. But if you dug deeper and learned more about worldly views of ethnicity versus just our skewed and very small view of race in America, you would understand her. So me now, after being overseas and understanding that view, I got her. And I also understand her not wanting to have that conversation. She is not denying her Blackness. If anything, she was giving you an exact understanding of where she is within this world.
And especially as we talk about all these identity politics and whether or not how you identify, which I'm kind of, it gets a little murky for me for a lot of different reasons. But I think I totally understand why I heard people like, no, we're not talking about that. Shut it. We're not.
Because you're fighting groups of people who are unwilling to educate themselves.
And at the same time, I view it as a missed but understood why they missed the opportunity to educate people. But that's not her job. But it would be cool if she could.
The Breakfast Club was not the platform. With Charlemagne, see, the problem is Charlemagne.
I respect that.
The problem is Charlemagne.
He's going to turn it into something
He's a troll.
Not. I respect that.
His response in general, we're going to keep that for the interview.
I respect that.
Instead of you taking that, maybe if you made her feel more comfortable and instead of making her feel attacked or
that's a good point.
She was uppity or something, maybe she could have had that conversation. But the Breakfast Club, as much as I love them, they have a tendency to make serious conversations really stupid.
I can appreciate that completely.
Yeah, like if it was a different person, I'd be like, go all in, sis.
Yeah, Tyler, you can come to us and we can talk about it.
We talk about it and we learn how to do the dance.
You know what I'm saying? 100%.
But I need people, I need Black folk. Do me a favor.
But it's both ways, because I think, like, on one hand, like, you need to understand her perspective, but they also need to be like, no, she sees herself as Black and this is what it means to be Black in America.
Yes.
It's a two-way street.
Yes.
Because your perspective is valid and so is theirs. You know what I'm saying? That's and it matters more to the individual, but it's not simple. And that's that the problem for me is that fundamentally most people, and especially Americans, unfortunately, have a trouble digesting nuance.
Yes.
You know what I'm saying?
Yes.
It's not just black and white.
It's
you know,
not.
there's a lot of gray areas. And you've got to be open to it's not her denying her Blackness. She doesn't even understand what Black American is. She's a 22-year-old. She's still learning who she is. She's still super duper young.
Yeah.
And like, you know, like step outside of America. Like, I don't know her specific family breakdown, but let's say that her mom is half Indian. Right. Why would you why would you deny your beautiful Indian heritage if that's a part of who you are genetically?
There was Kirk Franklin did something for the White House and brought Kamala on stage to dance. And people were talking about there was conversation about her, the other half of her.
Mm-hmm.
And I remember thinking to myself, why would she not talk about her Indian side?
Yeah.
Yes, she's a Black woman, but she's also an Indian woman.
Mm-hmm.
And it made me think, like, just being overseas completely changed my view of race in America.
And race, like in America specifically, is so convoluted and so stupid. Because if we're going to be really honest with ourselves, race is a completely falsified, made up thing. I know nobody wants to really accept that, but it's literally a created system. If we're going with genetics, most Black Americans, you know, who have been here through slavery, that bloodline, most of y'all niggas are not 100% anything. You're so mixed up genetically. I mean,
listen, the whites are too.
The whites are too. Yes, exactly.
The whites are just as jumbled.
Yes. So if we're going to really talk about genetics, like, okay, like, And if you want to really dig in, everybody goes back to Africa. Literally you take the whitest, wickety white blonde. Eventually, the migration went from Africa up there. So it's really murky. And I clearly understand that I'm black and am fighting for certain things, like have risked my neck, literally in this city to say things on behalf of my blackness. But at a certain point, we have to realize that we've made a mess unnecessarily.
Yeah.
And that we're struggling to deal with the facts and science of all these things while also accepting, how society ends up breaking down.
And let me say this. We have our mess, but other continents and countries, states, provinces, towns, cities, they all got their mess.
Everybody has
a mess.
You have
class systems. Like, we have the royal family.
People will find a reason to kill each other.
So this is not me shooting down, the whole thing happening in America with race and ethnicity and blackness and whiteness and all. This is just me trying to educate you on the fact that we are bigger than just what we've experienced here. And that there's a whole other side of the world where we can be ourselves, but also view ourselves in a different light.
In some countries, like, it's a matriarchy,
Why are you doing that?
Because I'm trying to be clear that, we're not denouncing our blackness. We love our blackness.
Oh, no, I love it. And I made sure I still, regardless of the conversations that I had over there, I still would, when people ask me what it was, I said, I'm black.
Gang.
I'm blackity black. It's period.
Yeah. Understanding the complication of that statement.
Right. So I feel, regardless of her music and blah, blah, blah.
Like Sean King is genetically definitely more white than he is black, but he's black.
I'm 63% black on my mom's side, so that's what I'm going with.
Yeah, so I am, and this is fun. Like when you say 63% black,
63% black,
African.
Yes.
63% African.
Oh, and not a lick of Spanish.
100% black.
And you want to know why I do that? Because the black experience in America is to denounce the side of you that isn't black. Like it is, you are less black if you accept the fact that you're not all black. And I've just learned so much. And I just want people to be a bit kinder and have more grace, but also educate yourself. Because me being 63% black and that other percentage doesn't change the fact that I'm still going to celebrate Juneteenth, right? It doesn't change the fact that when I go overseas, I'm going to have to say American first so people understand me and I don't have to have an hour-long conversation breaking down the different facets of the black experience in America when they have no intentions of truly understanding that, nor should they.
I've been, this is tied in but random. I've recently gotten sort of addicted to watching Memphis juke videos, the juke dancing.
I don't know what you're talking about.
That's fine. So the young people in Memphis, they juke, and it's a specific dance, Jook. And it's a specific dance, almost like, West in California, they got crip walking, it's their own kind of way of moving, but they got the Memphis juke. And I've been watching all the videos because this is a really cool dance. And that is black and Memphis black. It's very specific. It's completely different from how people dance in Nigeria. It's completely different than even how people dance in DC. Right? So understanding that the black people in Memphis have obvious ties to Africa, that's Memphis joking. You understand? And that's their thing. And it's okay to see that this is my thing.
Right.
Understanding the bigger picture.
Right.
Yeah.
I this thought just crossed my mind. Like, how do I want to say it?
Mm-hmm.
One of the biggest reasons why Black folk are so loud about our experience is because we've had no choice but to be. Because if we didn't, we would continue to be downplayed and disrespected and treated like dogs and treated less than a human like we were when we were brought here. So because we live here, because we dwell here, because we have families here and we thrive here, we have to be loud about where we stand within this society, because unfortunately the powers that be are not typically the color that we are.
Listen,
But we don't have to be as loud in other places because we got that American stamp on our names, essentially. I mean, you should always be loud and proud about who you are. But
I think, well,
go ahead. No, you're fine.
I just think that the main thing to understand is that there's a world outside of America that is in many ways very different.
Yeah.
And that it's always good to have a broader perspective on something. No different than music.
Yeah.
Like if you're a hardcore jazz musician and you dig all the way in, even to the specifics of like, you know, regional Chicago jazz, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
That's great. Dig all the way in, own that,
Yeah.
know that perspective, and then jump outside and listen to some atonal classical music that has nothing to do with what you do, because that perspective is equally valuable and will enhance in some capacities what you do at that perspective.
Knowledge is power. And the more you know, the better you'll feel. Like truly. And
own your blackness as a Black American.
Yes.
And also understand that there is a bigger picture.
Right. And I just want to say, not to say that racism doesn't exist in the world outside of America, because it does. Because a German woman pushed me and like you know, acted like she was going to nuck, and there was nothing I could do as a Black woman because I knew they would arrest me in a heartbeat.
And last thing, because we've been talking about this for a lot, and we actually got to leave in a couple minutes.
I know,
but I think I might have said before on the show, but one of the biggest examples of racism that I've ever experienced had nothing to do with me. I was in, I sound like a snob. Anyway, I was in Prague and I was with my best friend and we were at a Greek restaurant and they wouldn't serve us. And they just ignored us like we weren't humans. And about a half hour had gone by, people just walking by us like F you. And I'm naturally, as an American, thinking that this is because I'm Black.
Right.
And I was like, this is racist. This is because I'm Black. You know why they weren't waiting on us? My Greek friend in the Greek restaurant looks like he's Jewish. So they weren't serving us because they don't serve Jews.
The world is effed up all over the place, but it's still good to educate yourself. And let's not beat up on somebody who is just stepping into American culture and learning about African Americans, Black Americans, and give her the opportunity to educate you while she educates herself.
Understanding that fundamentally, it's absolutely stupid to judge anybody based upon their appearance.
Yes. Yes. So, yeah. Okay. You want to do these events real quick?
Yeah.
Because we got to go. We got an apartment.
We're walling. There we go. All right. Start where you're going to start.
Okay, hold
Which
on.
one you starting with?
Oh my gosh.
Beyond.
Oh my gosh, you're rushing me.
Yeah.
I'm overwhelmed.
Yeah.
Yes, Beyond.
All right, there we go.
Beyond Juneteenth. Okay. So, y'all already know Beyond Juneteenth celebration is going to be at the Delaware Art Museum, June 20th from 4 to 8 p.m. Head on out. Have you a good old time.
I'm going to keep going quick.
Okay.
Bang, bang, bang.
Snuff Mill Micro Gala for Opera Delaware, June 24th at Wilmington, Delaware. There's also a free Juneteenth event at the Crown Room in Wilmington. At the Queen. There you go. Also, free Best Kept Soul Band's Juneteenth celebration, Wednesday at June 19th. You can find all these on Facebook for location, time, and venue.
Is that the last one?
There's one more.
Yep.
There's two more. Black Wall Street Small Business Expo at the Wilmington Library, June 22nd from 11 a.m. to 4 p.m. And the Juneteenth Deaf Poetry Slam, June 20th, Milk and Honey Coffee House and Gallery on Market Street. And that's it. And on also the Clifford Brown Jazz Festival from Wednesday to Saturday. Yours truly will have their own tent up at the top of Rodney Square. It will be a lounge. Our appointment is actually to go pick out our furniture. So you can come and have a chat with us and talk about the culture of Wilmington, because, you know, it's bigger than just jazz. It's about the culture and the history of music and entertainment within our city. So come and have that conversation.
After all this conversation about race and the complications of race, blah, 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 this is a black ass city, and we got a black ass week coming up. And I can't wait to take my black ass
real.
and I can't wait to be at all these black ass events. So Clifford Brown, Juneteenth, you know, this is the week to black out.
And also,
enjoy yourself.
Rodney Square is going to have a full day of events preceding. Is it like before?
Preceding, yeah.
Preceding the Clifford Brown performances, which start at 7 p.m. But I think from 12 on, there's going to be a whole bunch of things happening in Rodney Square. So if you're interested in doing something for Juneteenth, you can go and have some fun. But outside of that, have yourself a black ass week, because this is Juneteenth
week. A black little Juneteenth.
Wow. No.
Okay, fine. I tried.
Yeah, no, that was.
What if I swing it?
Horrible. No. Also, I watched all of Bridgerton.
So did I.
I just want to say that there was a conversation that was had about. I don't like how they make it seem like the first time is like that.
Don't blame Bridgerton. Blame Hollywood.
Let me say, don't let your children listen to this part. Don't let your children listen to the part. This is clock out the kids at this point if your kids be listening. But it's very rare that your first time is like that. And I just want to say, if there are people younger than a certain age who are looking at this and haven't had the stuff yet, don't look at this as a guide to how it's going to be. Okay? Just putting that out there.
I consider myself, never mind.
Nope. Time to end the show because Jay's about to get reckless.
My
and
first time.
Nope.
I performed
End the show.
like
End the show.
a genius.
End the show. End the show.